Greetings, fellow investors. Welcome to the Financial Podcast. My name is Lucas,
And my name is Markus.
and today we're actually going to discuss the investment platform called DeGiro. So, Markus, if you want to get us started, we're here on the front page, and before you break it down for me and tell me what's going on here, please answer me this. How would you recommend using DeGiro? What is it best used for, in your opinion?
Okay, so we made another video about Nordnet earlier, where we looked mainly at funds and more maybe passive forms of investments. I would say that the Giro is better used, at least in Finland where we are, for stocks investing. I think that their main advantage over brokers like Nordnet is that they have very low fees, so that you can quite cheaply trade different kinds of stocks in a broad range of markets. So that's one good reason to use the Giro, but mainly for stocks and maybe ETFs. We haven't really gotten into ETFs so much yet. I guess that they could be good for ETFs, but I just want to preface this by saying that I don't know enough about the ETF side to say whether it's good or bad for that type of investments. But I would mainly recommend DeGiro for beginning stock investors if you are interested in stocks.
Yeah, and of course the reason is the low fees, as you said. And how low are the fees, Markus?
Well, if you trade on the American markets, generally they are around 50 cents per trade, which is pretty good, I think, when you compare it to sites like Nordnet, where it's like 8 euros per trade or something like that.
Yeah, I agree. And who can use not Nordnet, but DeGiro?
I think the Giro is a lot bigger than Nordnet actually, because I think Nordnet is primarily in the Nordic markets, but
Yeah,
the Giro is actually from the Netherlands, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah,
And they are actually active in the whole of Europe, and they're becoming one of the bigger ones, I think, but mainly for non-institutional investors.
yeah.
So retail traders mostly, like us.
hmm So it's perfect for us. Low fees and pretty local, pretty close to where we live.
Yeah, and also a broad range of markets, so you're not like limited to maybe your national market. You can actually pick stocks from all over the world. They do get more expensive if you go into like Asia, I think,
hmm
but at least the American ones are pretty cheap, and most of Europe's are pretty decent as well. I think like maybe German stocks are one of the cheaper ones, and maybe like I know Swedish stocks are one of the more expensive ones, but those are just 4 euros per trade, which is not like it's all right. It's not too good, but it's okay.
Yeah. So let's take a look here at the screen. What are we looking here, at? What are we looking at here, Markus?
Mm. Well, honestly, I don't spend too much time on this particular page that you are viewing right now. It's actually different kind of indices, I think, of like Europe, Sweden, US, and they are a good like feel if you want to see how the market in globally is doing or locally. But I generally don't pay too much mind to these, as these are I mean, they are for stocks as well, but a lot of it is if you're investing into funds and
Yeah.
particularly index funds, which I don't do on DeGiro right now. So I don't spend too much time on this page. Obviously, it's in Finnish because sadly DeGiro as well has chosen not to make English available for Finnish customers. So
Really?
sadly,
Oh, I was gonna ask you
yes.
about that if you could change the language because I was
Nope, it is not possible currently.
this
Sadly,
this
I don't know
country.
why they do this. This is even a Dutch company, but they do not provide English the site in English in Finland for
Okay.
whatever.
So if you don't spend too much time on this page, although I have to say it's really nice because it's really easy to check how the overall market is doing, as
Yeah,
you said.
I really like it as well. You get a broad overview, and of course, this is good like when you're thinking broader and how stocks are doing, and
hmm
maybe if it's a good time to invest, you can definitely give this a glance
Yeah,
and
you
see
get
how.
a good overview.
Yeah, and of course you can see there that it says in Finnish, follow these stocks, and those are some pretty good big companies that you could, for instance, follow. I think most of those are. I'm not sure. I can't see it too well since it's on your screen, but a few of them at least are European, and a few of them are American.
American. We have Goldman Sachs, we have Airbus, Cisco System, Gilead Sciences.
Yeah.
Okay, but
What you,
where do you want to
what
move?
you can do on
Mhm.
this before we leave this page, what you actually can do, you can also see exchange rates and news also, which is a pretty good feature if you scroll down a little
Yeah,
bit.
here I saw
You can
news.
spend time here, but usually I don't do it too much. There you have futures and commodities if you're interested in that, but I haven't really done too much of it. But it could be a good idea to check the news sometimes here and see if you find something strikes your fancy.
Mhm.
But if you go back up, I would like to show one last thing on this page.
Mhm.
You can see the voittajat ja häviäjät
Ah,
on the
yeah.
side. And there you can actually, well, now it says the Finnish, uh, that's not even a Finnish stock, because sadly, DeGiro lost their rights to Finnish stocks, so there are no more stocks in Finland in DeGiro. But here you can change to S&P 500, for instance,
Yeah.
and you can see who are the winners today and who are the losers. This
Okay.
is a common feature. Most like newspapers and stuff have it.
Yeah,
At
this is
least here.
quite on, for example, if you play online games,
Mhm.
like massive multiplayer online games, and
Multiplayer games.
yeah, you check their
Mhm. Yeah.
like trading post sites for like third-party trading post sites, they usually have this as well.
Yeah, it's pretty common, but it's a good overview. You can see like the biggest one, which companies have had the biggest swings, for instance. And you can actually, if you see at the bottom of that square, it says näyttää kaikki S&P 500 tuotteet,
Yeah.
and then you can actually see like all of the stocks in the S&P. You can change. You can actually change there which type of stocks you want to see. So sometimes I actually, particularly in the beginning, I just open this page up. So like in a certain index or market, I just like this opened it up and I looked at stocks I found interesting, and you could make the purchase from there. Generally, I don't do this anymore because I got a little bit burned. I do way more research now into what I'm actually buying, and
Mm.
particularly I want some recommendations. But you can actually go through. I think this is all the stocks in the S&P in alphabetical order.
Yeah,
You can just go
that's
through
what it
them
seems
and
like.
look at it. But anyways, one of the most important features that I use most often is the salkku, like in the
Here.
yeah, you can hit that button also. That works, and there you can see, of course, how much you have invested, which is currently 142. And salkku means portfolio, by the way, investment portfolio in Finnish. And you can also see next to it how much you have in free cash, which is 1213. And you can also see the total amount of money that currently is in this account, which is 154 and 45. And then if you go down, you can look at the avoimet positot, positiot, and
Positiot,
that's
yeah.
your open positions,
Yeah.
which you have two good stocks right now,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion. And then you can see, of course, the name of the company, which exchange they are in, the Nasdaq, I think, and the New York Stock Exchange. You can see how Mara says how many of each you have. Then you can see the current valuation of the stock, and of course in which currency it is, and it automatically change the currency when you buy or sell. So even
Yeah.
though you have like euros on your DeGiro account, you can buy uh, stocks in dollars.
Yes.
However, they will apply rates to that. So depending on the exchange rate, you can win or lose some. Generally, this might not be a big amount, but it's very good to be aware that even though it's automatic, it does change from euro to dollars when you
Yeah.
make a purchase.
Which was really good for me when I bought this because it ended up being slightly cheaper than I expected since the euro is a bit stronger than the dollar.
Yeah, yeah. So you can definitely make some gains even there, but if you're not actually trading in currency, I don't think that generally you will make that much in like the exchange itself. But you never know.
Yeah.
Then you have the value of the current position. So how much I think the total is that you have invested
Yeah.
into that stock
Can I
for the moment.
just take a break and appreciate that I bought this for like 2 weeks ago, if that.
Mhm.
Remember when I texted you about like now I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna buy
Yeah,
something.
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and it's increased by 20% since then.
Yes, that's pretty good.
What the hell? What's going on with this
But
one?
these things happen. What is the current? Yeah, I remember when this was like 15 euro, $15.
Yeah,
That
and
was
it's
like a
18.
big one.
It's
Yeah,
really spiked
probably it's
there.
financial education pulling some string. But could you actually go back because we're gonna
Yeah.
get to this? But we could just look at the last. Then you can see the break-even price, the BEP, and that's how much you have to sell them for to break even, to not
Ah,
make a loss, basically.
is that
Uh,
fees included?
yeah, everything should be fees and everything included.
Oh, that's
So
super
if you
handy.
sell them at this price, you will not earn anything, but you will not lose anything either,
Mm.
and all the fees considered, which is pretty good. Then you should have daily, I think.
Yeah,
I'm not too sure about
this is
these.
the
These are
daily
probably
what I've
yeah.
made today in euros on this
Uh-huh.
position, and this is in percentage today.
Yeah. Okay. And then you have the
Total, right?
the voitot or losses, gains or losses.
Mm.
But I think that this is the like today's or not. No, it cannot be
No, this is the
today.
total.
Yeah. And the other one is the other one is probably in amount then.
But this is
Like
an
not in
amount as well.
yeah.
Could
I'm
you
not too sure about these actually to be.
do you know what I think it is?
Uh-huh.
It's minus the fees.
Ah, okay.
So this is like total gains, but then
Yeah.
this is
Yeah,
what
then you have the
I'm gonna
fees.
actually make if I sell.
Yeah, yeah. I would imagine so too, because generally that amount is a little bit lower than the first one.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, you can see how it's updated and when it was last updated. So right now it looks to be pretty updated.
Yeah.
Generally they are.
It's just like
Uh,
1 hour.
yeah, and then next to the salku, this was of course your open positions. Next to it, you have the closed positions. Right now, you don't have any closed position, but if you had made any sells, you would see those, and then for some reason, you can put up kaikki, which would show you everything.
Yeah.
But if you would go back to your open positions, and then you could click one of the companies. It doesn't really matter which.
Let's take this
Okay,
one.
here's the Carrier Global.
This
So
one
here
you
you can,
recommended for me.
yeah, as a dividend stock. I
Mhm.
don't think it's a huge value stock, but I think it could pay good dividends over time. Anyway, here you have a price chart of the daily price fluctuations today of the Carrier Global Corp, which is the stock we're looking at. It measures like kind of in real time how the price is affected. Generally, I don't spend too much time looking at this. This is so short, so maybe it's more for day traders or
Yeah.
something like that. But then, of course, you can change it to 1 week, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, and look how historically it has performed.
In
Of
this
course,
case, I can't do it more than 1 year, right? Because it hasn't been.
yeah, Carrier. Yeah, Carrier is actually a really new company that is a splinter company of a bigger one from before, like
Yeah.
an American. I can't remember what the parent company was. But yeah, if you could go back to even longer than 5 years, if it depends on how long the company has been around.
Mm.
But if you had chosen Upwork, we would only see like 2 years back because I think they IPO'd at
In
2018.
2018, correct? Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, you can look at the price, the historical price of the stock, which is a really good thing to know. You shouldn't follow it too much because if you just look like, oh, this company was worth this much 5 years ago, doesn't mean that it will go back to that amount.
Yeah.
But it's still a good thing to know. Then you have the pricing data there. I think most of it is fairly straightforward. You can see what people are asking for it, what it was sold for, then how many.
how does the volume work? Can I?
I think that is in either thousands or yeah, it's probably in thousands or millions even. So 26,337 stocks are currently out in the market, I would imagine.
Do you think it's
It's
that many?
something.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at least if it were. It could also be, of course, thousands. I'm not too sure about carrier. It depends on the company. Anyways, there you also have how many are right now on the being offered. So you can see it changes from 100 to 200, and depending how many is buying. So, but this stock seems to be around 100. And that's how many people are trying to buy, I guess. I'm not sure if these are completely accurate though, and there might be some delay, of course.
Where do I see the how much they pay in dividend?
That you actually have to go and either you have to wait until they actually pay a dividend in the DeGiro, and then you will get a notification that you have an incoming dividend.
Mm-hmm.
I could have showed that if we have used my account because I had that from Hertz. No, not Hertz. Sorry. What's the ketchup company again?
Yeah,
Well,
Hertz.
oh
Hertz.
yeah, Hertz. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Hertz company. So they paid some dividends. So there you could have a notification that you have an incoming dividend, but otherwise you actually have to go to their financial reports, I think, and check it.
Okay.
And of course, it depends. Sometimes they can choose to pay a higher dividend. Sometimes they can choose to pay not a dividend at all. I at least had one company this year that didn't want to pay a dividend, so
Yeah.
I'm getting nothing.
Understandable.
Yeah. Last things, you can see the ISIN of the company right there. There should be the ticker here somewhere. Maybe I'm not seeing it.
Mm.
Oh no, there it is, the symbol. So they are calling it symbol instead of ticker, but it's CAR.
Oh, there.
And then you have the stock exchange. It's on, and yeah. Then you have the U.S. dividend green list. This only is important if you are in Europe, I think, but maybe DeGiro only is active in Europe. But it means that you get some tax benefits from the dividend in
Okay.
this company. Not all companies are listed in this, so it's really good too. But it says no, so that's a bit worrying. That means that there can be higher tax rates for this company.
Oh no.
We need to check that.
Yeah. Okay.
uh, okay, you learn something every day. Anyways, I think that does it for this part. This is what you see like when you want to analyze a company or a stock in the Giro. So you see like how many are being offered, the price, the price data, things like this. If you want more information than this, I think you have to use different tools
Yeah.
like financial statements and stuff like that. But if you wanted to buy, say, more of the carrier, for instance, you see the big green button that says Osta, which means buy, and then there is a red one which says me. And then next to these, you have a star also. I could just briefly explain how the star works. So the star is like if you want to add it to your favorites. It says suosikit in Finnish.
And then it
And then
comes
if you
here.
yeah, then it comes there, and you can split these favorites into several categories. So you can kind of categorize your favorites. For instance, keep track of companies that you find interesting, you might want to buy at some time, at some point. You can see some kind of different data here as well. For some reason, they have a little like graph in the actual
That's
like
pretty
there.
cool. That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
well, yeah, it's pretty good to get some overview, but it's basically the same that you got from your portfolio page.
Yeah.
So if you go, I think you can actually hit the green button like right here. If you see right there, you can hit that. Then this screen pops up, and this is the buy page, and the sell page is pretty much the same. So you have like the limit there. It should say limit toimin. So there you can put in the limit at which price you would like to buy it. I will pay it. I will pay at most this amount of money for it. If you, for some reason, could get it cheaper than, say, for instance, the 30 and 87, then the Giro will automatically buy that instead for you. So it will not always pick like the price you entered. If it can find a price lower than that, it will pick that instead. But I think that if you can also do the reverse when you're selling, so that even though it has a selling price, you can actually pick a selling price that is higher than the current selling price and kind of wait until the stock reaches that price until you sell it.
Yeah, and
Which
I
could
think
be
then it could be more like beneficial to look at like when you want to sell or buy for that matter, but but then that you check, like for example the past week it's been trading between like these ranges, and then you know that okay, maybe not the highest, but maybe somewhere here on the higher end I could try and list it, and then hopefully I'll get someone
Yeah, you
to
will
buy it.
reach. Someone will reach it there, and the buying page does not go away even though you click other things. It will stay there
Yeah.
until you actually either buy or exit it.
Yeah.
Could you put it up just briefly again? There you had the limit, so that's basically the price you want to buy it at. The määrä is
How many shares?
how many you would like to buy, and then it automatically calculate how much this would actually mean for you. How much will you actually have to pay
in
for
euros.
this amount at this price? Yeah, I think it's in euros.
For me, yeah.
Yeah.
It says here.
Yeah.
There it's euros.
Yeah. So then if you prick the blue button, there you have the same pricing data that we saw earlier. But if you press that button, which I think you dare do,
it's not gonna work because I don't have enough money.
Yeah, currently. But if he had pressed the blue button, it would calculate his new net amount on his account, and also the fees would be explicitly said how much is the fees also. So in this case, it would be like 50 cents because this is listed in the S&P 500.
Yeah.
But yeah, the selling process is pretty much the same. You just put in a limit instead. How much are you comfortable selling at, and how many, and things like that. There you can play around with that if you want to. Yeah. Then finally we have the search bar up in the right corner. No, left corner. And there you can see stocks, bonds. I think that's funds and ETFs.
Investing funds.
Yeah. And of course you can check these if you want. But since I have not really gotten into bonds or ETFs or something like that at DeGiro yet, I'm not going to talk about those. But if you pick the stocks, here you can actually find them through countries, for instance, here.
Oh, okay.
Generally, you can do this. This is totally valuable that you just pick a country and then see something from there. But I just want to say that generally how I use this is that I already know that the company I'm searching for, and you just type it into the search bar.
Yeah.
It's no more difficult than that.
So say I want to buy Apple, let's just say.
Yeah.
And there it is.
And there it is. Sometimes you get several kinds, but it's usually pretty easy to figure out which one you actually want.
Yeah, I've been. Can you just answer me this real quick? So this is the Nasdaq, of course. But what's the difference between these? This XET? I don't understand this. Is this in France? What it trades for in France? What's the difference between these three? Do you know?
I think they are listed in different countries.
Yeah.
So you might be buying different branches of Apple.
That might be Apple. Wait,
yeah, because I think Disney does that at least, that you can buy like Disneyland Paris, so to speak, or Disney as a whole. So you can actually, there are like several, like you can buy into the parent company or like its subsidiaries.
Yeah, subsidiaries.
Yeah,
yeah.
I would imagine that
were slightly different. So yeah, that's.
Yeah, I think that's probably what it is. Honestly, I think that's most of it. You have your profile section down in the left corner there. There you have like who you are, your bank details.
This you're gonna have to edit out.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that. Settings, stuff like that. You don't have to open this. I think you can figure this out on your own. It's pretty straightforward. They explain quite well to you what you need to do in case there's something you need to fix. So yeah, one thing though, there are two things that has happened at DeGiro actually lately that I could briefly mention. One is that they have, I think there are some tighter regulations now, so you actually have to pass some tests before you can actually trade in stocks a lot of the time.
Yeah, that was a pain because I didn't understand the questions when they were in Finnish.
Yeah, for us it's really bad because it's like they are in Finnish, which is a language we don't really are masters of. so to speak.
Yeah, when
And
you were, I
in
was
terms
tired. I just wanted to trade like some stocks, and then they gave me
yeah,
like they
exactly.
threw
They
multiple
gave you a
choice questions.
Finnish economy test.
Yeah, I
Well,
was not in
yeah,
the mood.
but I think that's probably some regulations they kind of have to implement. Usually they don't take too long, especially if you did it in your own language. I think they are usually pretty straightforward. But those are a thing to keep in mind, that you do have to do the tests sometimes for each specific group you want to invest in. Say, so you have to do one for bonds, one for stocks, one for index funds, stuff like that, which can be a little bit annoying, but it doesn't take too
It's
long.
just they're just trying to make sure that you don't accidentally lose a lot of money, for example,
Yeah,
by
I think the
trading with
idea is
leverage.
good anyway. I
Yeah.
think, yeah. And the second thing is that actually DeGiro just partnered up with a German bank. So now DeGiro actually have access to bank services. So before when you wanted to make a purchase in DeGiro, you had to transfer money to your account, which you can do at the Talenta ja Nosta in the right corner there. You can just click that button, and then it asks which type of deposit you want to do. Either you can use the Trustly here in Finland, which is like instant, and then a manual one where you just through your bank make a payment to your DeGiro account, which you can later use at DeGiro. Before it was a little bit iffy because here is the actual bank that they are using. I think it's FlatEx Bank. Before it was a little bit like they actually didn't have bank services at DeGiro, so when you put money into the DeGiro account, the money followed like a money index which they had, which you could then exchange shares of the index for stocks at DeGiro. This is not relevant anymore though, because now they actually got a bank, so that when you deposit money into DeGiro, it shouldn't change, which is a good thing, I think. So that's just a brief thing to mention. Other than that, I'm sure that there are a lot of things that I might be missing, but these are the things I have figured out through my 4 months of using it. I will probably find some more things to keep in mind, maybe for an update video.
But I think this is a great introduction, a great way to get started using the
Yeah, I
Giro.
think that this is, if you are interested in stocks and want to use the DeGiro, this is what you will need, like in this video, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't give you the actual tips, which stocks to buy and stuff like that. That you will have to figure out on your own. But now you know how to buy them at the DeGiro, I think.
Yeah.
So, Lucas, do you have any questions after this presentation?
Nope, I don't think so. We talked about the fees; they were low. Yeah. I think this is all of it.
Yeah, and the goal is pretty straightforward. I mean, this is more if you're into trading, maybe maybe because you think it's fun, maybe you think you can beat the market or whatever. People trade for different reasons, but I wouldn't say that this is not as straightforward as Nordnet was. That you just put money into an index fund and make it grow over time. I think that's a lot of the cases that's better for people in general to do that. But if you want to try the stock market, I think the DeGiro is a very good alternative. And one more thing I want to mention that I actually forgot is that I actually don't use the desktop version of this too much. They have a great app which look pretty similar to this that you can use on your phone. You can even buy and sell through there. So actually, I use the app quite a lot more than I do the web browser version. So I would recommend using the app if you choose to use the DeGiro. It's pretty good, actually.
Yeah, I've downloaded it, but I haven't logged in on it yet.
But I could recommend it. It's pretty straightforward. I think that most things in the DeGiro, if it's not in Finnish, which ours is, it's pretty straightforward and you understand most of it. I think that they have new investors in mind a lot of the time, particularly with like these tests and regulations that they have now.
Yeah.
I think that they are pretty good for new investors. I think that maybe they even like honed in on new investors a little bit, and they don't make things too expensive and too complicated, which I really think is pretty good if you want to start out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that pretty much does it. Unless you have any other questions.
No, I think that's quite good because this is already quite long.
Yeah.
So with that, hopefully there's not too much editing for you with me doing because I was checking some things while you were talking, and I don't know if it disrupted, but maybe you can just, for this end, you can put on another screen or something. We'll have to figure it out. But so with that, I would like to thank you all for watching. Hopefully this was of some help. Please ask us any questions in the
Yeah,
comments and
sure.
let us
And if
know.
you're
Yeah,
yeah, and if you're using DeGiro, maybe you could point out some differences if maybe you have like another version of DeGiro because they operate in a lot of countries.
yeah,
So this is the Finnish one. Could you notice any differences? Please let us know in that case.
yeah, apart from the language.
Yeah.
So with that, all that there's left to do is wish you guys a great week, and until next time, happy investing.
Happy investing.